Welcome to the Class is Permanent podcast. Today is Friday, June 12th, and we have episode 53 ahead of us. We have our first World Cup game to recap. Mexico beats South Africa 2-0. We're going to get into a fun segment here with the top 10 fan bases that you could see at this World Cup. And then we'll get into a preview of all the games this weekend, including tonight's game against Paraguay. We have a special guest here, but let's get into it. Away we go.
Class is permanent! Form is temporary! Form is temporary!
Alrighty, I'm joined, as always, by a man who has recently been using free will more and more as the days go on, Daniel Kenyon Lee Capucci.
I would prefer Daniel Kufal Kikuchi because I have Czechia winning tonight. It's just a gut instinct. I think they saw those Guadalajara mountains and the Jalisco cartel, and they said, "I want a piece of this."
Okay,
So I'm riding with Czechia tonight.
there you go. Well, thank you for the early prediction. We were definitely going to talk about that. And then we were joined by another special guest. Last episode, we had Mr. Jimbo Sherry, and today we are joined by our number one resident Chelsea fan, a man known as Andriy Hrubiy, Dirty Rubes. I don't know. What other nicknames we got for you, Rubes?
I think the nicknames, you did a pretty good job, but definitely I appreciate that every time you bring up my name on the podcast, you guys go, Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. And then I'm just like in the gym or in my basement, like, yes, those are my guys. So definitely a tough act to follow Sherry. I like that he came in with the hard-hitting questions. I was literally like spinning in my room being like, wow, what's a good third place match? Pooch brings up Senegal, Morocco, and all of a sudden I'm 6 to midnight. So I think Sherry came with great questions. Tough act to follow, but I'm honored to finally be on here.
Yeah, we're very happy to have Hrubiy on. We've been hesitant. This is probably the biggest Chelsea fan I've ever met. Your dog's name is Chelsea, correct?
My dog's name is Chelsea. When I was a kid, my parents told me I'm allowed to name the dog Chelsea if I promise to never name one of my children after a soccer team, aka Chelsea. So I took the deal.
Would your parents allow you to name one of your children Dinamo? That'd be a sick
They are
name.
pretty patriotic. I think they would allow it to fly, but I don't think my beautiful fiance would let that fly.
Understandable. What about Kiev?
I still don't think she would let that fly, but I think the parents would think it's patriotic.
Understandable.
Borderline ones. Not really a name, but I kind of like it.
Well, actually, real quick, just while we have you on it, why don't you give us a couple of potential kid names?
I have no
Didier?
idea. Didier, Eden, Cole, Christian, Joel Hans Embiid,
You're gonna be
Jalen, Love Hurts,
I can't believe you're putting
Shayshawn
Cole Palmer.
Barkley.
You're putting Cole Palmer in the conversation for a kid name.
Cole Jermaine Palmer.
After he moves
Won
to
us
United.
the World Cup. Probably won't move to United, but we're not allowed to talk Chelsea on the pod, right? We're not allowed to talk. It's a trap. It's a
That
trick.
was a trap.
Really, I actually don't even follow club football. I'm just obsessed with the World Cup. So
That's it. He's our resident World Cup guy. He's actually boots on the ground right now.
and support your local. Go Union.
Yeah, Pooch, what local do you support?
Knicks. I got
Okay.
my butters on right now.
There you go. He's got his butters on. Let's talk Knicks real quick. We're obviously a footy pod, but there's no way to not talk Knicks.
Yeah.
As Pooch mentioned, the Knicks with a massive win last night. I don't know if in my lifetime I've seen a comeback like this. The only ones I could ever think of are Barca remontada, obviously 6-1 against PSG, and probably, Pooch, one of it's probably near and dear to your heart, Patriots-Falcons. I mean, insane game. I've heard a lot of people, I was listening to a lot of sports talk radio today. I was in the car bouncing around, and some people were like, that was the greatest basketball game of all time. I'd argue it actually wasn't. I'd argue it was the greatest comeback of all time. But as a game, like the first half was horrific to watch. The refereeing throughout the game, both sides, was horrific. The game got interesting in the fourth quarter, but like if you're a Spurs fan, that's got to be the worst game you could have ever watched in your life. I don't know. De'Aaron Fox going up for the layup.
See, my issue with that is I agree with what you said, where it's not the best game ever, because even that Patriots Falcons 28-3 was not the best, not even close to the best Super Bowl ever, but it was the best comeback ever.
Yeah.
And I see De'Aaron Fox getting a lot of flack. A lot of people are forgetting the point. Wembanyama went nowhere in that fourth quarter. He like disappeared for a guy who wants to be the hashtag face of this league. He just is not. He didn't show it. When the lights shone bright, he had those 2 free throws to
Missed
go
them
up
both.
back one. He bricked both. And like I knew he was gonna miss the second when they showed him and then Fat Joe in the background, and Fat Joe's doing his little dummy dance. And then Wembanyama's like trying to like get them what the monks taught him at the line, and he's like taking a deep breath, closing his eyes. And I'm like, bro, before he was like Mitchell Robinson in your head. New York got in his head in that moment. Like,
dude, talking about that real quick, just quick talk about Fat Joe here. Can we still call him Fat Joe? He's not fat anymore.
He's fat adjacent.
Chubby Joe?
Chubby Joe. Chubby
Fluffy.
Joe would work. Fluffy Joe.
Fluffy Joe. I like that.
Fluffy Joe.
Yeah, I mean, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask for what Hrubiy thought of that game. What's your basketball team, by the way?
Yeah, I'm a Sixers fan, so basically I've just been
okay.
enjoying every single one of my ops win a championship and just having to watch it with my own eyes. But in terms of comebacks, I agree. Probably craziest basketball comeback I've ever witnessed. Probably comparable to 3-1 Golden State blowing that lead in the championship. I think I agree. It reminded me of Falcons Pats. Remontada I get. I also thought of Liverpool versus Milan in the Champions League final. But just like, yeah, De'Aaron Fox is the most head-scratching part where you're frustrated. But I agree with Pooch that the whole team choked. Like, you go from shooting lights out in the first half to in the second half, rushing shots, taking bad shots, can't hit a three, multiple people missing free throws, all-time choke job, all-time mixed crowd. Kind of just a crazy game to experience.
Yeah. And hypothetically, as a Sixers fan, if the Sixers this year went up against this Knicks team in the finals, what do you think? Do you think you could win that? Do you think like maybe they beat you like 3-2 or something, maybe 7 games? What do you think?
I really feel like Sherry right now when you guys brought up Josh Jacobs. I don't know why I got on this spot. I feel like I've been baited, bamboozled, and honey trapped. But we did play the Knicks. It was pretty heartbreaking. I actually got made fun of a lot at work and kind of in my social group. So,
well, you guys must have won at least one game in that series then.
Had those 48 hours where we beat Boston in Game 7, and I was just on top of the world, texting Kellen Yenny, Josh Bedard, really whoever would listen to me.
But you didn't answer my question. You guys at least won a game against them in the playoffs this year.
More of a soccer podcast.
Hrubiy, I'm going to keep it a buck. As a Knicks fan, I didn't even watch a game of the Knicks Sixers. I was so confident. But yeah, one more iconic comeback I thought of was Bradford City versus Chelsea in the FA Cup 2015. Chelsea was up 2-0 and Bradford City won 4-2. So I just want to make sure I wanted to make sure we didn't leave that one out because obviously another iconic. We're big Bradford guys, but no big deal.
Those are comparable.
Poor Hrubiy, man. He came on here. We told him absolutely no Chelsea talk, and we're just baiting him. We just need content.
A serious question for you both.
Clip that.
Do you guys think that Wembanyama kind of going missing in this finals will be indicative of Mbappe and his run in the FIFA World Cup? They're both going to be playing in the States. I'm sure they're going to link up at some point.
Yeah.
I'm sure like Mbappe is going to be like, Victor, what can you help me with playing in the US? And he's going to just say like, don't go to New York. I choke. Like,
it's scary out there, man. They're going to throw an egg at you as you walk. That was the greatest throw I've ever seen in my life. Like, listen, I'm not
great toss.
I really I'm not about all that. Like, leave the players alone. Like when they're going to their hotel, and a lot of like what I see, I'm all about people celebrating in the streets. But like I saw like a taxi driver where like someone's stomping in his window as he's driving. I'm like, all right, enough. But that throw might be a top 3 throw of all time. I've never seen someone get domed like that. I've never seen someone.
Yeah, did you hear who actually did it?
Fluffy
was not
Joe?
Jackson Dart. It was Eli Manning. Jackson Dart's way too inaccurate, they said, to make that throw.
That's fucked up. Anyway, Drake
was trying to make me feel better, and it worked.
No, awesome game. I'm very excited. I'll be in the city for Game 5, just like at a bar, and it's kind of bad. Like I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm worrying for my life a little if we win. Like part of me is like, this is going to be awesome. Maybe I'll crowd surf. Part of me is also like, I feel like I might just get stabbed because people are just going to be doing shit. You know, put your hand in the cash register. Someone might put their hand in me. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's
Kind of the
highly
dream.
possible. It's highly possible.
You never know.
I would say for anybody listening, and if they do knock on wood, win in Game 5, my two kind of survival guides for New York City that night, and Ethan, listen.
Yep.
One is probably the most important, and that is make sure to wear your butters.
Yep.
Because you never know what happens. You got to be always prepared.
Yep.
And then number 2, make sure you got your computer activated, because that could stop anybody in New York right now. If I just said, like, computer, don't punch out my call window.
What is the number one firewall Ethan should prepare if he does have to break out his computer?
Great question.
I mean, I think you just got to firewall Uno reverse.
Oh, I like that.
So, like, if somebody's trying to, like, let's say, like, rip out a sign and throw it, and Ethan's right in the throwing lane, he's got to be like, firewall Uno reverse the other way. So then the person has to turn around and throw it the other way.
That's a good idea. I was going to load up some Biden blasts so that way I was ready. And then I had some stuff in the back pocket too. But yeah, it's honestly, I mean, I've been texting some of my group chats, and for people living in the New York, New Jersey area that I guess are Knicks fans more than anything, but like this got to be one of the craziest summers of all time, in the sake of like World Cup is in town. So you have like a bunch of foreigners just walking around the city. The city itself is on fire because the Knicks are doing well. Like the only time I could think of that's even comparable is 94, when the Knicks, the Rangers were both, I think the Rangers, that was the year we won the cup. The Knicks, I think, lost in the semifinals maybe that year. Maybe they were in the finals.
No. They lost in the conference finals.
That's it, right? In the conference finals.
That
was
Jordan,
Ewing.
I think.
Yeah, and Ewing missed the finger roll, which I thought Hart yesterday. I was like, oh my God, it's the finger roll again.
Yeah.
OJ was doing his chase during, I think, that Knicks game, by the way. And the World Cup was in the U.S. with although that final, I think, was played in Pasadena. I think it was played at Rose Bowl.
But the opening day of the final, the OJ chase, the Rangers game, and then that Knicks game was all the same day happening at the same time.
Yes.
I don't recall if it was one of our chats or if it was literally the last podcast episode, but phenomenal ESPN doc on that day.
Yes. 100%. What's funny is I've mentioned that to a couple of people, and even like my girlfriend's dad I mentioned to. He's a huge Rangers fan. And he's like, I didn't realize all that happened on the same day. And I was like, I mean, I guess in the moment, maybe you didn't. My dad, when watching the doc, mentioned it because he was at a bar watching, I think, the Knicks and the Rangers. And he was like, they kept putting the OJ chase and none of us cared. No one knew in that moment how big a deal it was. And they were just like, oh my God, OJ. But it was also like, you're at the bar watching the game. You don't give a shit. You're like, I'll figure that out later. That has nothing to do with me. Like, put the Knicks game on.
That's a very us thing. Like, if there was a national crisis going on, but USA was playing their World Cup match, we'd be tuned into the World Cup match.
Well, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. game on a Friday. You never know. But
real quick, just talking about the vibe in the city, because I was butters on the ground today when I went to work. And let me tell you, so I was walking to my office and then out of my office. The amount of Scottish people there, you would have thought we were in Edinburgh. Like they play in Boston. They're not even in New York. They play in Boston. And all I see everywhere is kilts. I'm in the bar, and next to me is just a father and son Scottish tandem. And then the rest of the bar is, and they're Mexican fans. Like, Mexico is playing. So I don't want to get canceled for that, but Mexico was playing. So there were a bunch of Mexicans and then 2 Scottish guys and me in this bar. And I think I told you guys earlier, I personally felt like when Mexico scored the second goal, I stood up and you would have thought I was also Mexican. Like the way I stood up and cheered, because everybody else was clapping. And I was like, I don't want to be the only one in this bar not clapping.
I feel like that's a good vibe for the World Cup, is to ride the crowd that you're with and just get caught up in the vibes.
Yeah. And then on top of that too, just like with what Ethan was saying, like the Knicks, Like, even yesterday when I was leaving the office to go home, I had to take like 7 extra blocks, went through 4 things of security just to get to Penn Station because they blocked off MSG. And with that being said, the vibe, everybody was on 10. Everybody was like ready to go and happy and excited. If there's a place to be this summer, I'm thinking it may be New York City.
It's
Hosting
never
the
been
final of the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's never been a better time. And we spoke about, I think, on the last episode about the German guy who's documenting his travels through the American South, who's just hilarious. He's just cannot believe, he just can't believe some of the shit he's seeing. And you just know that there's someone who's just ended up in like, well, even better example, the Algeria team is in Lawrence, Kansas. And like the whole community is like, yeah, they seem like good people and we really like them. So we're rooting for Algeria, like we're with the Algerians. And it's just hilarious because he's like, we're just grateful that they chose us to come and be here. And it's that better accent this episode. It's just hilarious. Like you just have probably nationalities that have just never met or spoken before and having conversations for the first time in history. I mean, we spoke about the South Koreans in Mexico.
All-time World Cup vibes just when you get those different countries to interact.
100%. That's why I wish that this podcast had hit 100K followers when we started this. We spoke about that we would take a punch buggy and drive through the states. I don't know why we didn't.
10K away.
That is true. Only 99.9900 away. But
I also saw something with the Algeria team where this could be false information or not, but I choose to believe it. So everybody was comparing them in like, I guess, Switzerland or Austria, who are staying at like the Ritz-Carlton in like Santa Barbara, like right on the beach and like looks beautiful. And then Algeria is staying at a DoubleTree in Lawrence, Kansas. And I saw that apparently they had the option to get the nicest hotel in Lawrence, but decided against it because the players said that they wanted to smoke in the hotel. And then also that there was an indoor pool. So at the DoubleTree, so they chose that. Once again, that could be false information, but I'm choosing to believe it's true. That I would love the fact Algeria saw this nice hotel and they were like, can we smoke inside? And they're like, no. And they're like, not for us. Can we get the DoubleTree off the side of the main road? Sure. We smoke inside? Yes. Indoor pool? Yeah, of course. We're in.
I wonder
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I wonder who stopped by the Holiday Inn in Baton Rouge that we stayed in with our boy Vu. The swinger parties there with Vu. All right, we're getting into the footy, so let's get into it real quick. Our first game was today. Obviously, if you're listening to this, we recorded the night before. Mexico beat South Africa 2-0. Opening game of the World Cup. Honestly, if this game was any other day of the week, I think most of us would be like, this may be one of those games that you probably, you go and live your life, maybe do an errand or two. But first game of the World Cup, I was on my couch dialed. South Africa, they just did not look prepared for a World Cup. Mexico, this guy Quinones, he's going to score goals. That's all he's going to do. His goal is just, let me take a rip. Everywhere he's on the field, he picks up the ball. He's like, I got an inch. Yeah, I'm going to have a shot. Good for Mexico. Good win. 2 red cards. I felt like one of them was probably a little weak. The slap was a little soft. There was 3?
Yeah, Mexico got one.
You're right. You're right.
Kind of 2 soft reds, and to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the third one was more of like kind of like that technical kind of definition where the second one is technicality as well. Like, I guess if it's a slapping motion. But yeah, I can only imagine the South African manager coming in and being like, all right, guys, like, let's keep our heads. Let's just try and play compact. Let's just try and steal one on the road. And within like, how quick before Shithole got a red? 23 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. No, I thought he got it in the second half.
Did he?
Shithole got the red.
I believe
in the second
Mexico
half.
scored early,
Yes.
and then in the second half, early on, he got the red.
Okay, I thought it was end of the first, so that's on me. But same thing. It's just like, no, he got it in the 49th. You guys are right. He got it in the 49th. So I thought he got it a little bit earlier in the first half. But even then, at halftime, you probably come in, it's 1-0, and you're like, all right, guys, like, we're in this game. Nothing stupid. Let's just try and get a result. And yeah, just went to shit. South Africa might not get a win.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This was the opening match of the 2010 World Cup as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
And they drew.
I do really enjoy that with World Cups, that you kind of have these matchups that you wouldn't expect over time kind of become like big games, even though Spain-Netherlands is a little bit more expected, and that was a World Cup final.
Yeah.
It was cool then seeing in the following World Cup them go up against each other again. Netherlands kind of getting their lick back. I enjoyed seeing kind of a rematch here, giving me almost that nostalgia for a past World Cup while getting me excited for this one.
100%.
100% agree.
And also, it's a great way, just going into something that our buddy Sosa and obviously Owen, who we still haven't heard from, by the way. We still haven't heard from
Yeah,
Owen.
don't
We're
know where
going
he
on
is.
like 2 weeks straight. He may be RIP, my boy. But if you're talking about like marketing games, this is like a perfect way to get a game no one was going to watch to actually watch it. You know what I mean? You put it first. You just like, all right, let's get it out of the way there. But listen,
Beautiful stadium to start in.
this was something I was talking about with my dad. He's like, oh, is this stadium like iconic? And I was like, the Azteca is probably like, despite it not being like a European stadium or one that you probably hear about a lot, like this is probably top 10, maybe even top 5 in the world for just like iconic. You know, you talk about Wembley, you talk about Azteca, you talk about, you know, in Madrid, you know, the Bernabeu, the Camp Nou, the Maracanã, exactly, like stadiums that just big.
Yeah, I told one of my coworkers this past week who like doesn't really know soccer. I was showing him like the different stadiums like that it's being played at. And when we came to the Azteca, I was like, this is literally like if you had to do like a 7 wonders of the world, but for soccer stadiums,
Yeah.
this is one of them. Like this is like an iconic stadium.
Yep.
I had 3 thoughts mainly from this game.
Okay.
The first thought was that Azteca probably should have hosted the final instead. I think it like just the vibes were immaculate. I thought it was great. The second one was I did feel like South Africa was in the game in the first. You touched on it a little bit, Ethan, where they were in the game a little bit, where they were like in that first half. You're sitting there and you're like, they had a few chances, maybe not shots, but like you could be like, okay, like they have a decent counterattack. If they keep it 1-0, you could see squeaky bumhole time for Mexico, and it end 1-1. And then my third was what's the guy's name? Quinteras that scored.
Quinones.
Yeah, that's worst case for Mexico that he scored the first goal.
Yeah,
because that guy just even in the first game just legitimately
the Bruno head.
Yeah, like he legitimately wouldn't stop shooting. There was one shot he had in the first half. He had an easy through ball that would have had the guy one-on-one with the keeper. He shot from 35 yards out.
Yes.
He just skied it over. And I'm just like, that's the worst case scenario for Mexico that this guy scored the goal. Like
it's such a pickup basketball thing where like you make one shot and then just let it rip every time.
Dude was heat checking. There was a time in the second half too where I think he tried to get the keeper out, like, and it's like he just played it to the keeper. Like the keeper wasn't even like outside the 6-yard box. He just like threw up a ball, and you're like, dude.
We're going to learn a lot about the Saudi league and the competitive level in this tournament because he's playing for one of the Saudi teams. He has 33 goals in 31 games. So, like, guys like him where you're like, that's insane stats. And don't get me wrong, he scored the first one and potentially, you could say, could have had another. But yeah. I mean, it was a terrific finish. Good for him. But it's one of those things like, all right, we're going to start seeing the quality. Like, you know, we got to adjust those inflation, or maybe it's legit. But fun game to start the World Cup. You got the red cards in there. You got some goals. You got a little bit of
games back.
It's just so funny. Like I've had this buzz all week. Like, oh my god, the World Cup's coming. And I remember I was like, oh, the first game, like, you know, it's right. Like Mexico, South Africa, not the most exciting. I was dialed the entire game. Like dialed in, like as if it was a Champions League final. I've already told my girlfriend, like, it's going to be a prom. Like she may not see me, or she's going to have to come to see me by a TV.
She commented on the Instagram post of you opening the packs.
Yeah, she didn't like that post because those were real requests that day to do all those. and
I liked her comment.
Yeah. That. Listen, sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit, and I had to make that post. I thought it was gonna go off, but I got about 25 likes, so we'll take that. That's a win right now.
I also love those pregame, just like the hype videos when you're watching, like before it starts, and they're showing old videos, the cities. It just gets you so excited.
Tomorrow's game, and we'll get into the preview, but like the USA Paraguay, I mean, I think everyone has a viewing plan one way or another. Like, that's going to be peak, you know, and just when you get to sit down and watch your team play, there's nothing better. And it's legitimately addicting where you're like, I want us to play again tomorrow. Like this, as long as they played well. If they didn't, you're like, I don't want to see them ever again. But like when they're playing well, you're like, I remember from the Euros, and obviously when I was a kid with Spain, but like the Euros, I was like, can they play every single day? This is awesome. Like just my team is winning. They're playing well. Like this is awesome. But what were you about to say, Pooch?
I I also another thing I love about the World Cup is learning about players you probably should never learn
Yes.
about. So I think I texted both of you today. I found out South Africa has a player named Sithole, but on first view on the shirt, it looks like shithole.
Correct.
And I need that jersey instantly. Like I need to buy myself a shithole jersey because it's like stuff like that where you're like, and of course he gets the
One of
red,
the
and you're
best
like,
parts of the World Cup.
yeah,
Random
you're just like
players.
random players. You know they're never gonna like be a star or any. I'm not talking about the James Rodriguez's where like he goes to play for Real Madrid after a great World Cup. I'm talking about the guys where you're like, shit, that guy's like decent, but he's not great. And then you're just like, I like him now. Like for me personally,
Yep.
Akor Adams from this past AFCON scored a goal the other day against Portugal. Like I still think he should get a big move, by the way. But
I heard he was like dribbling through tons of people too.
he's the real deal, Hrubiy. You guys need a striker? Call up Akor Adams. He'll cost you $5 million.
Okay. I'm not doing that. Yeah, it's funny too because I remember everyone in their
Well,
head.
you guys don't need a striker. Tottenham and Barcelona
Whoa,
don't
whoa,
need a
whoa.
striker.
No, we
Class
do.
is permanent. Adult men's league very much could use a striker.
No,
I don't know if
do
we
you
have the
$5 million
budget.
for Akor Adams. If we could scrounge up from a small investor $5 million, I'm sure Akor Adams will come play for us.
What about the Derby sponsorship money?
That's gone, bro. That's that
We
missed on a
used it on
parlay,
the
unfortunately.
jersey.
Yeah, we used it on the kids.
We've lost a parlay. No, what was funny though is so everyone saw the guy's name and looked like shithole. And it's funny. I think Landon Donovan, who by the way, I do not enjoy Landon Donovan at all. His commentary, I feel like, is not very good. I think the guy's name is like Sitola, and I was like, "Who's he talking about?" And I was like, "Oh my god, that's how you say that." That poor man. Like his whole life, no one has ever called him shithole, and he just came to the one country that everybody is going to start calling him shithole. He's going to walk around and they're going to be like, "Oh, are you that shithole guy?" He's going to be like, "My name is Sitole. What are you talking about?" It's like Colgate in the United States, right? Like the toothpaste brand. In Spanish, Colgate is Colgate, which is like hang yourself. So they have to change the name in Spain. So just one of those things that you wouldn't know unless you know. But yeah, listen, we're back. It's awesome. We have footy. Today was fun, but again, we have the Korea and Czech Republic game going to start soon. But like, I just need footy now. I want all the games. I want it like March Madness where they're starting every 5 minutes. Just
and
like
that's why I
inject
was
it.
almost asking you, like, you know, who do we got for the Korea game? Because it's just fun to get caught up in random games that
Yes.
typically you wouldn't watch. But all of a sudden, I might fall in love with the random player,
Yep.
see something crazy happening. And it's like any win at this point is a drastic moment for any player or the nation. So you
Yeah.
could beat the Czech Republic, and it could be the memory of a lifetime for some kid in Korea.
Yep. 100%. And I mean, seeing Raul Jimenez, obviously I'd say we're all America's supporters here. So Mexico's the rival, but like seeing a guy who late 30s had, you know, a traumatic brain injury, probably never thought he'd play again, and then gets to score like in his home country and obviously the biggest
First
game.
start,
Oh my days, like insane, absolutely insane. So I was happy for him.
fans were insane.
Yeah.
Do you know how like he was crying and like some like random American probably is like, wow, classic soccer, crying after scoring one goal. But like not even his backstory. Just like imagine scoring a goal after you've been to 4 World Cups, you never started in one, and you look up and it's all of your 80,000 of your countrymen just cheering you
Oh my
on.
God.
Do you know how it like that would bring anyone to tears? If, like,
100%.
I
if
think
you're
as
just
a
looking
parent,
up.
there would be nothing I would be more proud of my kid for than like playing in a World Cup or seeing your kid score in a World Cup. Like definitely things like Olympics come to mind. Maybe if you're like a diehard
First
NBA
steps.
fan, something like that. But for me personally, like there's nothing bigger than the World Cup and to represent your country.
The fact people after Messi won were like, oh, it's just a 7-game tournament. By the way, I've never actually seen the person that has ever argued that. So I don't know who made that argument. I know it was like Ronaldo fans essentially, but like this is not a 7, and now it's technically an 8-game tournament if you make it to the final. But like it is clearly not like the passion on the
Copa
field.
Mundial.
I mean, like we're in the United States where half the population here, if not more, would be like, I hate soccer. It's stupid. And you got people going to the bar at 9 p.m. on a Friday instead of going out and doing their own thing and like going and being like, yeah, I'm going to watch the game. Or 11 a.m. on a Saturday and like, oh, I heard the World Cup's on. I'm going to go to the bar and sit and watch the games. They don't know anything about the game, but they're like, this is awesome. And we talked about it earlier when it comes to your foreigners, like I remember growing up, and we talk about Derby Road a lot. It's obviously a sponsor on the men's league jerseys. Hrubiy, obviously one of our players. Pooch bailed on us.
Had
You
shoulder surgery.
No, but I offered you to be a manager multiple times, especially our semifinal
And I
and
told
final.
you no every single time.
But I don't know why.
You said I
you
was.
would. But like, why? Like, why can't you just support the guys?
First
They're
half of the
wearing your
season,
logo.
First half of the season, I physically could not get there because I couldn't drive.
Okay, but what about the final when we had a doubleheader and we were down to 9 men?
I didn't want to go.
Okay. Well, you know what? I appreciate your honesty, but the reasoning is horrific. Anyway.
Shoulder surgery is horrific.
Horrific. Be a man. Jimenez had a traumatic brain injury.
Wait, hold on. Pause. I got my shoulder messed up because of your team.
But now it's my team. It wears our badge, but it's my understood. No problem. I'll remember that. No problem.
Hrubiy, back me up. It's his team. It's his team.
I've never made it about me.
This is the community's team. It's like everyone in the local community loves this team.
And I remember Ethan afterwards saying, "We'll do anything for you. Like anything you need, like medical bills paid for,
We
like
never said that.
groceries picked up for you. You died for the badge out there. We're gonna help you out in your time of need." You want to know how much support I got? 0 from the
I
team.
gave you a podcast where every episode we asked about your shoulder.
God,
Helped you move.
Thank you.
Ooh, we sent players to help you move.
Sent one player to help me move.
Roman was a player during the winter too. Oh no, now you're bamboozled.
No, he wasn't. Not
And
during
Brett
the winter.
Sorry, during the fall, I guess. Didn't you? Oh no, I guess you just looked at the winter.
Fall season.
Did Brett help you move?
Not at all.
That's actually really soft from Brett for someone who acts like he's so big and strong. Anyway.
Wait, real quick. Ethan,
Timeout,
headphones off, sidebar.
Yep.
Sidebar. Hrubiy, Brett did help me move.
Mm-hmm. I think originally you told me like, hey, he's gonna come with this truck and help me on a separate day, but I don't want to start some beef.
Yeah, no, Ethan got me there.
Can I come back on?
No, hold on one more second.
Okay.
But he also I just didn't want to go to that last game. It was hot outside. I was gonna sweat my balls off.
It was actually a perfect night for soccer. Anyway, back to Derby Road. When it first opened a couple of years ago, like 2015, 24, I guess it was 2014, they had the 10 outside. He just did the 6-7 again.
Owen, stop.
Yeah. I really hope Owen's okay. They really got him doing so much production.
He's either like working hard with Fox or the Sinaloa cartel has him now, folks. Like he got found out in that desert. Like,
they would love to capture him.
God, I hope he's safe with the Koreans.
He's become one of them. No, Alexi Lalas is just using slurs and he's spending hours just having to cut all of Alexi Lalas's takes. But anyway, we used to ride our bikes over to Derby and get wings and root beers because back then we couldn't drink. And I remember there was one day, I think it was 2014 World Cup. I think it was Greece versus, I want to say like Ghana. And there was a Ghanaian man who did what you did today, Pooch. He used his free will and went to the bar to watch the game. And we were just sitting with him. And by the end of the game, we were fully in on Ghana, like doing chants and like all this. And this guy was just like a dude sitting there. And he's just like, yeah, I came to watch my team. And we're with you. He had like a bunch of 15-year-old like American kids.
Proper memory.
Oh my God. But that's my point. Like that's what it brings out of you. And that like it is about melting cultures together and talking and laughing. And like Ghana scored and we were like jumping in a circle with him. Like celebrating. Like this is like a 45-year-old man who just probably left his like accounting job and was like, went back to the, how do you go back to the office after that, by the way? You just experienced pure joy. And now you have to go back and they're like, hey, did you have that quarterly review done? And it's like, no. But awesome. We are very excited. Let's move in then to, I guess it's a little bit of a game more than anything. It's a fun segment here. Something we should have probably done before. And I think Hrubiy is a terrific person to have here on the pod for this. This is, I think, the intersection of everything that Hrubiy is. We are doing our top 10 fan bases here at the World Cup. Do we want to make a collective list? Have we all made our own lists?
I think everybody goes through their own list.
Yeah, I think let's just start at 10, build up, and we'll just list off our teams and maybe slight blurb if you have a strong opinion on it.
Sounds good. Hrubiy, why don't you lead us off as guest? Guest goes first.
Yeah, I think a lot of tough choices, so many different ways you could take this, but I think a good number 10 for me is Japan because they have lots of passion. So it's always like exciting to see them in the crowds, but then they also have that respect where you saw in the past they'd be cleaning the stadiums. They always show respect to their opponents. Like they're not a number one for me. I like going
Understandable.
with the drunkards, the people with a lot of like history, numbers, passion, chance. But I think Japan's a very good 10.
Like that. I like that number 10. Pooch,
Yeah.
you're up.
That was one of my honorable mentions, Japan. At 10, I have the Socceroos, Australia.
Mm,
I like them. They always bring a good vibe to any situation you're in. And I feel like at the World Cup, they maybe get a little bit downplayed because they're always there and they don't really do anything because they're in that like weird oceanic
Yeah.
Asian qualification. But every single time I see a Socceroos fan, it's like they have the kangaroo on the jersey, they wear that green, and like they're doing shoeies. They're
good
like,
drinking fan base.
yeah, and they just always have a good positive energy to them. So I think I had to put them at 10.
That is, I'm going to be honest, that if that's number 10, I'm curious to see the rest of your list because they got up a little higher than that for me. So I'm curious. Honestly, and maybe this is a little bit of recency bias, I was between Japan and South Korea for number 10 for a lot of reasons that Hrubiy brought up. I thought about like the respect factor and also just like such kind people that I went South Korea. I saw them down there and they were like doing the tequila stuff. I don't know if maybe I just chose against Japan there, but same thing. Like I also made my list based on mainly like who would I want to get a beer with. And I
Yeah.
feel like with a
Yeah.
Korean man, like Korea also seems a little more fun to me. Like I feel like when I see Korean culture, it's a lot of like going out and stuff, and I feel like
Very
that'd be fun.
diehard too. Like they'll follow
Yes.
Sun to the death, to the ends of
Yes.
the earth.
Yeah, very positive. There, let's go number 9. Do you guys want me to do snake draft? And I'll go again.
Yeah, do snake.
Perfect. Number 9, and this was a tricky spot for me. I ended up going Germany, and now here's why I said Germany. Germany for me is, again, who do you want to get a beer with? And I'm just thinking about like a bunch of like riled up like German dudes, and they're probably just like a hilarious group, like proper drinking culture. Their teams are decent, but I also feel like Germans can be really funny at times, and they also again have like kind of funny American accents when they talk, like when they speak English as like that funny accent. And I was like, I could totally see myself getting like maybe more of like Oktoberfest vibes when I'm thinking about this, but I could see myself having a good time with some Germans at the bar.
That's a good answer. I think Harudi and I have experience with that. And I think
Yeah.
we can confirm everything you're saying is true. Number 9 for me, I had Les France. Equipe.
No, get
Me
out.
too.
No, horrible.
Perfect spot.
I have them at 9 because they're fans, while maybe not the biggest drinkers or like partiers in the essence of Australia. They give you bangers like French Snapchat
Yeah.
things, and then also they create songs like the French
Spot
song,
on.
like the Ngolo, what is it, like
Angolo,
Ngolo, Kante, Kim,
like you
Maestro
know that as
Kimbe,
American.
Kimpembe.
Yeah, like I saw that video pop up the other day on my like just feed, and I was like, I watched the whole thing again. Like it was awesome. So I have to put them at 9, not for their drinking or even like their in stadium like atmosphere, but more so everything that surrounds it. I think that they deserve to be in the top 10, but not too high.
Understandable.
Perfect spot for me. Totally agree. I had France in the 9. I think there's other countries you could put above it. I think their fans kind of scare me a little bit. Like they're almost like a Vancouver, Philly, where win or lose, you might burn the city to the ground. So they do scare me. But like again, that French song, one of the best World Cup win celebrations I've seen, and just definitely a lot of passion there.
I think I probably, and the reason why I was so anti-France is because I'm thinking purely like bar vibes, and I feel like I'd go to the bar with some French guys and they'd be like, "Can we get some red wine?" And I'd be like, "What?" So I was thinking about like who I want to sit at the bar next to, kind of, and also like fan base. You're right, like thinking about French culture, like when they win and you see them in Paris or like you said, the song, like they are good for that. That is very accurate.
Like the parade they just had in Paris was insane. Like you're doing it in the stadium at the Eiffel Tower. Everyone's just like coming out in costumes, going crazy. I think I don't know where Pooch will have Germany, but having experienced it personally, I just have them a bit higher on that list.
Understandable. You're back at number 8. Your favorite number?
Yeah, number 8. Ooh, I just realized this might be a little bit of a faux pas on my end, but I actually had Italy, which technically is not a World Cup country.
That's all right. You could leave them.
It was top 10 international fan bases.
It was.
I was first brought it up. I think they could potentially be even higher, but I'm basically surrounded by Italian Americans, not necessarily like I've been to Italy or actually been within their stadiums. But I do think that is a pure passion country,
Yeah.
and they absolutely love their footy. So I had to have them in my top 10.
I don't hate that shout, but I agree with you. I think when I think of Italians, like I don't know like any actual Italians. I know Italian Americans, and I feel like, I mean, listen, all three of us grew up in New Jersey. I think we all know plenty of Italian Americans. Maybe this is like a little Italy / American. Pooch, what do you point at yourself for?
Italian American.
You got to be the least Italian American I've ever met in my life.
Poochie.
No, congrats.
Capucci.
If you told me you were Irish, I'd believe you.
I'm part Irish.
He's
too.
kind of a mutt.
Yeah, he is a bit of a mutt. Pooch, you're up now with number 8.
Yeah, number 8. I mean, technically they're not in the tournament, but I had to pick them. I think I'm gonna go Ukraine.
Slavia Ukraina.
Oh, we both really showed respect to each other.
Nope. I thought you were doing a joke, so I changed mine really quick because you put Italy in and they didn't make the World Cup. So that was a joke. And then you were like really complimentary to us, and I felt really bad. I'll try and fit them in somewhere else, maybe as an honorable mention. But my number 8 was Senegal, so I guess close to Ukraine.
Very similar country.
Very similar, yeah. Understandable.
I feel like Senegal is like one of those teams in Africa or countries in Africa. They always show up to these tournaments, these international tournaments, when they're in them. They have the whole band going. I think they were the ones in Alexandria, Virginia, where they had all the Senegalese Americans at the hotel when they showed up, and it's just a great vibe when they're walking in there. And I just think whether it's 2022, I remember them playing. I forget if they played at it was either 2018 or 2014, one of those. They like pan to the Senegalese fans in the crowd, and everybody is like hyped up. Everybody's raring to go. And was Senegal the country where you had the white guy dancing with all of the Senegalese, or was that another one? Yeah.
It was Senegal.
So like once again, like another like viral moment where like the fans really show up and they follow their team wherever. Like they played England in a friendly like in the fall or whatever, and like a third of the stadium was just Senegalese people. Where you're like,
have them in my honorable mentions.
They were in mine too. The African countries got a little tricky for me because they all have really good fan bases, and I think they all kind of like muted each other. Versus like, I don't know, some of the other ones we've spoken about, like for instance, like South Korea and Japan, like clearly have the best fan bases out of anybody on like that part of Asia. So I think they just rise above everything. But like the African fan base, especially seeing them at AFCON, were all so vibrant that it was like hard to tell who the best was.
Yeah.
And number 8, I went a little bit of a different way. I put Colombia.
I like that. Also an honorable
obvious reasons.
For me.
No,
How far back are we talking with Colombia?
I don't know what you're referring to.
When their fans shot the center back and killed him.
Oh, but those no. Those weren't their fans.
That's passion. You're right. That's passion.
That was part of Escobar's cartel.
That's passion. That's passion. You're right.
Well, you can't talk about Colombian football and not bring up Pablo. So I do think it all kind of intertwines.
Okay, so am I wrong then?
He's right, Hrubiy. It's just passion.
It's just passion.
It's just the fans being passionate.
Passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like when I was thinking about like some of the South American teams, I was like, I feel like Colombian fans are so passionate, and Colombia has not always been the best
Dancers.
team. Exactly. Like they dance, the music, like they were like, even if I don't know someone's Colombian, when a World's tournament comes around, like they are all out in Colombian stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
and they stole hearts at that 2014.
Yes. And you got to think back to James.
Yeah. And then their players don't shake hands with the president's daughter as they leave to board the U.S. It's just passion. It's just passion.
Passion.
We've clearly not been listening to your World Cup reviews, unfortunately. Because that was clearly a callback. Anyway, number 7, Argentina for me.
Mm.
I was kind of going off getting a beer with them, and here's what I thought about Argentina. Argentinian fans are very passionate. They're
That's low for me.
That's low?
For me.
Okay, well, fair enough. Hey, feel free to debate it. But the Argentinians, for me, very passionate. Great people to go get some like steak with. Great meat. And on top of it, hey, pause. That's on me. I'm sure it's great, though.
Computer, reverse what that guy just said.
Uno
Horrible
reverse.
meat. Bad meat. No, but I just feel like like you saw what they did like in downtown Buenos Aires when they won the World Cup, like the million people. Just this is I mean, we're talking fan bases, but if we're talking just like cultures, this is probably top 3 soccer cultures in the world. Like this country lives, breathes, eats the game. So again, I was kind of going off getting a beer with, and that's why probably they were a little bit lower, because I was thinking about some of the Argentinians I know, and they're fun, but my top 5 are really, top 4, I'd say, are people like really pint culture
you went
type
for
of
the
beer.
pints.
Yeah.
Yeah, Argentina, obviously, I could touch on a bit later, but I do like seeing those World Cup celebrations as
Oh my
well.
God.
So I do think theirs even beat out France's. Like that Argentina
Yeah.
celebration was absurd. They're like outside Messi's grandmother home singing.
Yes.
The way they, like some fan bases turn on their stars. Argentina will die for Messi, back
Yep.
him. Like,
For Maradona when he was the star too.
Well, I will say
I
is,
think
Di
they're
Maria.
to be fair, they almost got Messi to retire from Argentina back in the day, but that's also part of the passion.
Yeah.
They're so obsessed. They're so obsessed. They're like, we don't care that the rest of the world calls you the greatest. You haven't won anything for us, so you're like, you'll never be better than Diego. And then they obviously start winning. But Pooch, what do you
I
got
love that
here?
song Muchachos from the last World Cup. I literally know it word
Yes.
for word.
That was one of the things I forgot to mention. Muchachos. What was it? It's like,
Ahora no.
Right. Ahora nos vamos a. It was like, tonight we're gonna dream, or vamos a ganar. Yeah, whatever. Fire song. That's also one of the best parts about the World Cup, when every country comes out with their song, like their rallying song. Spain is known for coming out with like shitty ones. Like a couple years ago, Sergio Ramos was singing it, and I remember just being like, "This is fucking garbage." But Pooch, what do you have here at 7?
I have Germany for
Okay.
basically the same reasons you said earlier.
Okay.
Since we already touched on it, I'm not going to go into it in any more depth, but yeah,
Understandable.
7 Germany for me.
Rubes.
Yeah, I have Nigeria number 7. Like we
Super
said,
Eagles.
difficult with some of the African countries because a
Yes.
lot of them are so passionate. Feel like it could have been a Senegal. Feel like it could have been an Egypt. But Nigerian fans are the number 1, I would say, I see on my Twitter, where like during AFCON, they're just hilarious. They're constantly like flooding Twitter with like different takes, sometimes extremely hot takes. They have always like those crazy parades within the country where people are just like super into it. So I think Nigeria for me is just like very impressive fan base, and also
Yeah.
have the drip with the jerseys. I think they'd be fun to hang out with. Just like whether you're at a bar, whether you're at their country.
I'll also say this. They're like the Duke basketball of hate watching. I saw clips today. I didn't even know them in South Africa had beef. I saw videos of Nigerians walking around in Mexico jerseys, just being like, I hope they get I hope South Africa gets pummeled. And I'm like, I didn't even know you guys. I knew Ghana and you guys had beef.
Yeah.
South Africa, really?
I think Semenyo did a video. Ellis from Away Days, which is also, by the way, like one of the best accounts. That guy's living the dream. He's partnered with Classic Football Kits, so he does like kit shopping with players, and he did with Semenyo. And Semenyo was looking at Ghana kits, and they asked him about like Nigeria, Ghana. He's like, no, you don't want to be part of that rivalry. Like,
yeah,
that's like, he's like, that's a rivalry. But going back to the Nigerians, you mentioning the kits, like one of the most iconic things. Are they also the ones that do voodoo or no? One of the African countries do voodoo.
Politics on the podcast.
Oops.
I don't know. I don't think people. I mean, they probably do voodoo, but I don't think it's like ingrained in their culture. Yeah.
All right, 50 minutes. Cut that. Okay, gotcha. No problem. All right, Hrubiy, you're back up with number 6.
Real quick. I'm good with voodoo talk. Personally.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that big a deal.
I
didn't think it was that big a deal that you gave me a look like I just said.
I didn't want to offend Nigerians, be like, oh, all they do is voodoo. Like, I don't know.
No one said that. You just said that. You now have said that.
Clip it. 51 minutes. Clip it.
You were like, aren't they known for the voodoo?
I asked, are they one of the countries that performs voodoo? And then you gave me a look like I just said
someone in
more.
America who does voodoo.
Ethan,
no, I'm sure. I'm sure there are.
Quick. Remember how Roman didn't want to go to that voodoo store in New Orleans? Hruby's the same exact way.
Understandable.
Just so you're aware. They both are the same way, where me and you would 100% just walk in there and be like, oh, this is some cool stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And those two would just be like, we're going to go do something else. We cannot walk into this store.
That means that they're worried that someone's doing voodoo against them. What have you done?
It could be you guys. It could literally be Pooch, be like, Voodoo, make this guy horny for the next
Okay,
30
kids.
minutes.
That is voodoo. We essentially do voodoo very
That's
frequently.
Voodoo. That is voodoo.
All right.
All
Ruby,
right,
you're
I'll
back
go
up
in
with
the
number 6.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll go off Pooch. He had him at 7. I had Germany at 6. I think for me and Pooch, we were both at Germany at the Euros. So I have that personal experience, which helps. And I'll just say, like, what really stood out for me when they played, the whole city came to life. Like, the streets were packed, the fan zones are packed, everyone by the river, drinking beer, watching wherever they can, everyone in Germany jerseys.
Doing balloons.
Just like you're doing balloons, like just a step up compared to like if I walk outside here, I don't get that same vibe. Like that is
Yeah.
a proper soccer country, and that saxophone guy is like an extra +1.
100%. I like that. Pooch, you got number 6?
Yeah. So I went with Turkey for 6. I think between the club culture of like Galatasaray,
Great shout.
Fenerbahce, and then they transition that over so well into their national team. So once again, like while we were at that Euros a few years, the last Euros, Turkey, it was our first day there. Remember, Hrubiy, we're like dead tired. We're getting
That's a really
beers
good shout.
outside. And out of nowhere, all you hear is like these drums beating in the distance. And they get louder and louder. And I would
So
say
true.
maybe a few thousand, right, Hrubiy, like Turkish people,
Yeah.
just
Just marching
flares,
through the city like an army.
just to go to the fan zone, like getting
Yeah.
a police escort, and just like the passion that they showed to not even go to a game, but to go watch the game at a fan zone showed me, I was like, that's the level, like right there, like that is a proper nation. And I think after the Ukraine game, correct, Hrubiy, where Turkey was playing Georgia in the town center when we came back, and that fan zone was flooded with Turkish
Yeah.
individuals as well. So like they
Probably
just
the
traveled.
biggest miss on my list. I think they were phenomenal
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
Euros, and whenever you see clips of that country, just unreal fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my 6.
Pooch is really twerking for that free hair transplant. Hey, I'm with you. I might put Turkey at number 1 now. We're going for it. My brother is in Istanbul right now. He's been bouncing around Europe, and he was like, Istanbul's insane. I think it's a little bit of a sleeper city because everyone thinks like Western Europe. And I think when you think Eastern, you get a little hesitant about like where to go. And I think with like Istanbul and Turkey and, you know, their leader over the past couple of years. Hey, we're not politics. We're not talking politics. Sorry, Hrubiy.
Nope. No politics here.
No politics here. Free. Anyway. He was just saying it's an insane city and like it's a massive city. So I'd love to go there one day and get my
Also,
hairline fixed.
So much history too.
Yes.
It's the only city that's in between 2 continents. So half of Istanbul is Europe, the other half is Asia, and it's the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire.
What about the Ottoman Empire? Ever thought about that?
Well, the Ottoman Empire was there too, but
they gave us all some furniture.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke. Save that one for when you're 80 though, because then it will go hard. Yeah, I mean, you ruined my train of thought, but that was worth it actually.
All right. For me, number 6. Here I had Australia. This is where I had the Socceroos. I looking back, maybe I would have moved them a little bit higher. What gets tricky for me with the Socceroos is I think for a lot of the same reasons I like Australia, which is of course we're talking about doing shoeies, fun people, like really lively, awesome accents. I have 2 other countries that I think are a little bit higher up for that. And I kind of had to push these guys. You know, we're getting into, again, like with Nigeria and some of these African countries, all of them are so vibrant that like it's hard to start gauging it. But there's 2 that are a little higher that pushes this further up.
I think I even have an idea who you have, but I agree. They're all kind of like similar fan cultures.
Similar vibes. But again, we're going off beers. And like the thing is I feel like this for me was more of, I don't necessarily need to be watching a soccer game with an Australian to have a beer. This felt more like I would just love to have a beer with an Australian, you know, and like hang out. But
I love the accent.
The footy itself, like I feel like they almost wouldn't be that into it. if that makes sense. Like they'd be a little bit like, yeah, we love footy, but
They're
like
used to not going deep into tourneys.
exactly. And like Tim Cahill was obviously awesome back in the day in some of those Australian teams I remember, but other than and like Postacoglu and all that for me, but other than that, like actual fan culture, this is why they're just outside my top 5. But at the same time, like still would love just to grab a beer with them. And I feel like if they could go deep in a tournament, maybe that culture could get even better. But again, when you're
Are
perennially
Turkey
grouped,
and Australia both in USA's group?
yes,
Potentially some very good fan videos then from those games.
that would be awesome. And then I'm on the double here, and here is where number 5 I had Brazil. This one was less about the beer, and this one was more about the actual culture itself. Just this is probably the number one soccer culture in the world, right? Like the Jogo Bonito, the festival that comes with the 2014 World Cup, and like people playing on the beach. Again, this was less about me sitting with a Brazilian and having a beer. This was more like if you just get caught up in one of their parades or their carnivals, like you could just like, you know what I mean?
It's like a party.
It's just a party, and like they play that way too, or when they're at their best they play that way. So there was no way they were outside of my top 5. I couldn't do that. So
yeah,
just in there.
Thoughts on them eventually.
I'm sure you will. Pooch, what do you got here at 5?
I have the Three Lions at 5, England. So a bit low, I feel like, maybe comparatively to everyone else's list.
Okay.
But I think that they do a really good job of kind of adding to that fan culture. So like the drinking, the coming over, the song Three Lion, like the three it's coming home, sorry, that song. They always are kind of like that. The thing that kind of put them down compared to the other ones I have ahead of them is they're just always so negative about everything. It's like the opposite of Australia, where Australia is just like, we're happy to be here, like let's drink.
Right.
A lot of
British-
hatred amongst themselves too. Not like the other countries, they band together. England still just holds on to those rivalries.
100%.
Yeah. And like even like it's like for as much as they say it's our year, it's coming home, all of that, deep down they all know it is not their year and they're gonna lose in the most heartbreaking way. So the only thing they could do is be negative and like just drink a ton of beers, which is fine. That's why they're in the top 5, because they will like drink you under the table and everything. But I just don't think the four countries I have ahead of them are just more happy-go-lucky, like, hey, like this is our culture, like yada yada yada.
It's interesting. It feels like we all kind of went off different things, similar vibes with it, but like how we enjoy our footy culture is a bit interesting. Hrubiy, what did you have here? You have 4, and then you'll do 3, or excuse me, 5 and then 4.
5 and 4. I have 5, same exact thing. I think that's a perfect spot for England.
Okay.
I think the negatives we touched on exactly why they're not 4, 3, 2, or 1.
Yep.
But they definitely deserve top 5. Of all the countries, probably the one where the chants make me laugh the most.
Yes.
Like they're just clever, witty. Like
Yo,
you're seeing
shit.
Swedish and
But your birds
are
are fit. Yo, shit.
Exactly, but it's always something. Like they just make you laugh. They get hammered, so they're top 5. And like if Ethan's doing his bar thing, love to run into them and just like talk footy.
100%. Who do you have here at 4?
4, I have La Orange, Netherlands. I think Pooch, obviously a big fan of this fan base. I remember, believe 2010, I guess when Spain won, they would like show all these clips of where the Netherlands bus would travel to, how they travel together as a fan base. They stick out because they all wear that bright orange and they all just buy into it. So it's very uniform across the crowd. They get all together within the city, do that jumping dance song thing. I think for a country that has had some tough times, some good times, they just like know how to love football and celebrate these tournaments.
I think that's a good one there. Pooch, what do you have here at the 4 spot?
4, I have Argentina.
Okay.
For basically the same things that were mentioned before, where when they do well, you see that mass output. You see them going up to Messi's grandmother's window and saying thank you, like all of that stuff. But when it is bad, you do, like you said, Ethan, like you get the other side of it where it's maybe not like the top 3, but they're all still passionate. Like they love their football culture. They have a rich history of football too, which I think, in my opinion, they're like one of, if you had to do like a Mount Rushmore of countries for World Cup, I think they're on it in terms of less so like, oh, we have the most like World Cups, like we have this,
Yeah.
just like their history from the first World Cup to current day. They've always been involved and they've always had a storyline at every single World Cup.
Yep.
So I think they, as a fan base, deserve to be in that 4 spot.
That's very fair. I think if I was doing mine based on just top 5, like kind of what you have a little bit more of like a history going to
Yeah,
it, which I like,
yeah.
and like a little bit more of like the culture behind it. Obviously, again, mine's a little bit more about like drinking culture and that. There's like no way you can leave Argentina out of the top 5.
Yeah.
But again, I like everything you mentioned there, and of course hoping that they do well. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you know you just want to see the fans go nuts. I don't want them to do too well. I need Spain to win this year, but okay. Thanks for that, Pooch. If you're watching on the YouTube, I'm sorry. Number 4 for me, number 4 for me was in a tricky spot here. I felt like I had to get him on this list. I didn't know where I wanted to put him, and I almost feel like I don't love where I have him here, but I went with it anyway. Number 4, I actually have Mexico. I have Mexico, and I think your comments earlier today, Pooch, swayed me a bit. Mexican fans are passionate. Now, part of me is when I think of Mexico, I think of the U.S. rivalry, and I'm like, no, I don't want to hang out with them. But then I think about it, and I'm like, these people are probably so much fun to hang out with. Same type of vibes as like a lot of South America, like kind of party vibes, like care about their team, like super passionate. They have their own chants, some of them inappropriate, some of them are appropriate, and just a good vibe. It's tricky as an American because you're always rooting against them. But like seeing the Estadio Azteca today, I was like, that's insane. You know, like that's a
They're
footy
also
culture.
Unique. Like you hear the mariachi, and it's not like
Yes.
other countries.
Yes.
Other countries blend together. Mexico have that unique flair.
Yep.
Kind of check off all the boxes.
100%. And like on top of it, like I don't even think I want to get beer with them. I think I just want to have like a bunch of tequila shots. You know what I mean? And just have myself a time with them, right? Like I see all the time too. Obviously, from time to time I find myself on like Spanish TikTok and like some of like their like ranchero music, which is like cowboy type of music where it's like a little sadder. And like it is just so funny the TikToks that come out of that. Like dudes just getting pissed drunk and just like belting singing like some of these songs. And I'm like, obviously we don't want to be sad, but like just like that vibe, like just
even the way they're hosting the Koreans like makes me like
Yes.
them more. Like they're just embracing the World Cup.
Yes. And my whole life, and it wasn't until I really got into footy that I realized like, all right, Mexico aren't like the best team in the world, but like you think soccer and you think Mexico.
When we were kids,
Yeah.
we thought we were like the best.
Yes. You think soccer, you're like, oh my God, Mexico. Like if you're from Mexico, like you love, like I used to think soccer was created in Mexico.
Yeah.
And then I realized like it really wasn't, and like they're really not that good. But awesome vibes down there in Mexico, and the people down there. I mean, I've heard City MX. I'd love to go do it. I've never been. Like super good vibes. I guess I'm on the snake here. Number 3, Pooch is gonna love this one. I was looking for one a little eccentric. I've picked my African country, DR Congo. The guy that I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy that's what was it? Lumumba, the guy that stands with his arm out. I was thinking about, I keep seeing videos of this like fat dude who's shoeless, like stepping on like the chair dancing in the stadium. Again, maybe it's not so much getting a beer with these people, but like I just thought it hit me back like 2014 going to Derby. And like if there's like 4 or 5 like people from DR Congo, I would probably have the time of my life with them. They're a team that you can't hate. No, like there's no rivalry. They're obviously a country that's struggled in the past, and you're just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck yeah. And like they have songs, they dance. Like the game is really its own festival again in its own kind of way. So for me, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Number 3, Congo. They travel well as well. We talked about AFCON. I know they're coming to the US.
They'll be a treat at this World Cup.
Oh my God. And they're just going to be like so much fun. So for me, that they were in my number 3, which maybe is a disservice to some of the other teams I left higher up. But I was like, those are people I want to go and have a beer with or go watch a game and just vibe.
100% agree. I had them on my honorable mentions. They were one I was like, ooh, I could put them.
Very tough calls with this list.
Yes.
Yeah. My number 3 is Life is Life, Yogo Bonita, Brazil. I think they're 3 for basically everything that you said earlier, Ethan, where they are like such a good culture for the game itself and all of that. I just think my top 2 maybe are a bit more aggressive with that like culture.
Okay.
They are more of a relaxed, like obviously when they lose, like it is the end of the world to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I told that story of like Pele's dad crying after they lost the first World Cup at the Maracanã. But with that, I just don't feel like they are aggressive in the sense of like they're just kind of just chilling. Like they
Yeah.
always just it's all about having a good time. As long as the party's good, Brazil wins. Those are like the two most important things. The two teams that I have at the top, it's like I want to win, plus I want to aggressively like get drunk. Like I want to like I want to
Yeah.
like party. Like Brazil's
100%.
kind of just more like let's just dance. Hey, let's dance.
I think with Brazil too is the way that their players play. Like if you have a Ronaldinho, a Neymar, like these guys
Yeah.
on the field who are like literally dancing on the field, it just puts like an energy into the building too.
Exactly,
That,
yeah.
you know, again, when Spain played well at the 2024 Euros, like there wasn't, it was a very like, oh, they're playing well, but there wasn't like this flair. I guess obviously with Lamine on the field, there's always a flair, but it wasn't like a flair where you're like, oh my God, like these guys, like this is like, it was beautiful, but I guess in a different way. You know what I mean?
Plus Spain doesn't have caipirinhas.
I've never had one of those. Are those good?
Oh, they're amazing.
Come out with me on Saturday, brother. and you will learn.
Hrubiy is the first Brazilian Ukrainian
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Actually, my cousins are. My Ukrainian uncle married a Brazilian. So growing up, I'd go over to her house, watch Ronaldinho, watch Brazil, and now those kids are Brazilian Ukrainians.
Hrubiy's
Okay.
Brazilian Ukrainian by marriage, not by blood.
It's still somewhere in there.
I will save my commentary on Brazil. It
Yeah,
is
I wonder where
coming.
they are. Give us number 3 and number 2.
Yeah, I got number 3. I think seems like you guys are going to have these guys high up too. Number 3 is Scotland.
Yep.
Going over to the Euros just stole my heart. We're the funniest fan base. Everywhere you go, it's no Scotland, no party. They're
Yep.
getting hammered. It'll be like a 60-year-old dude with an 18-year-old, and they're just best friends because they're in a foreign country.
Yep.
They'll be singing like, "Please don't take me home. I just want to stay here and drink." So, you know, I'm sure you guys are going to have some slight commentary on them, but they just steal the hearts and they're a perfect fan base to hang out with.
This was the easiest top 3 when it came to Scotland
Yeah.
being in it of all time. Like that was
Yeah.
one of my only locks on this entire list was Scotland in my top 3. I'll say where I have them later, but Hrubiy, where do you have number 2?
Yeah, number 2, you guys had them a bit lower. For me, you know, South American footy is just like the peak footy for me. I love their fan bases. I love the passion they have for the game, the talent they've produced. It creates just these diehard fan bases. So I had Argentina number 2. Again,
Okay.
really blew me away even with the last World Cup. Couldn't put them number 1 because of a other specific team that I have in mind, but I think South America just does it different when it comes to football, and that's how I felt my whole life, and I don't think it's ever going to change.
I'm totally with you. I mean, if you're talking like, listen, we love
Boca
Europe.
River, like
That one video of it's like the little kid, he's probably like 10 years old, and he's like, you know, we don't have anything. Yeah, and he's like, we sold my PlayStation, we sold the motorbike, we don't even have a ticket, but we're here for Boca. Like that passion is ridiculous. I probably had Argentina a little too low, but again,
kids in their trash bag, like wearing trash bags, but they color it to look like a
Yes.
Messi jersey. Like they idolize, they treat them like
gods. Yes, 100%. Pooch, who do you got here? What do we have? Number 3 and number 2?
2.
At number 2, I have El Tri for every reason that you said, Ethan. And then on my reason that I just think that they're a more aggressive Central and South American version of Brazilians, where they're
Okay.
just as passionate as their team, but maybe they take it overboard sometimes with the chanting, with maybe throwing stuff on
Understandable.
the field, fighting after the game. They're just a more aggressive culture where like you'll see the videos of USA Mexico Nations
Yes.
League final where realistically at the end of the day, does it matter? No.
No.
But you'll see a 20-person brawl in the stands between the Mexican fans, like not even a US fan. And you're like, that's kind of sick, but also like, why are they
Tequila
also
hits faster than beers?
Yeah. And then you'll just be getting like the Modelos thrown onto the players during the field. Like they're just an aggressive fan base, but they're just as passionate as the Brazilians. And I think that puts them ahead a bit.
Wow. Understandable. My number 2 here was the English. I took the English here because again, I'm going off having a beer with them, and
Yeah.
there is anytime I've ever gone to a bar and I've met an Englishman and we start talking footy, first off, they are hilarious. Like, they are just a funny group of people, the way they say things, just the way, like, they're very to the point. The footy culture, because like Hrubiy said, like, you could go to a bar with a bunch of Englishmen, sit in the corner and just listen to them bicker about and talk and like yell at each other. And it's all like, they have their own factions based on like their club teams, and hearing them hate each other but love each other is like, it's like hearing siblings. Not to mention hearing when this tournament starts, like this like pessimistic attitude, and then it becomes, no, we're gonna win the World Cup, and then they lose, and it's like, well, what do we expect? These guys are all fucking shit. And it just feels so real. It feels so authentic.
We wouldn't be so obsessed with the Premier League if they didn't have that awesome fan culture. Like, it's a big driving point which reels people in, and them speaking English helps us as well.
I was going to say that's the big thing too, is them obviously speaking the same language as us obviously helps. I mean, I speak Spanish, but like for a group community, being able to go somewhere and like we, you know, the chants.
Get a chant going quick.
Very quick. But I have the English in my 2 spot, and then I'll do my number 1. And this for me was the biggest no-brainer. I said it was a top 3, but it was number 1, was the Scottish. I didn't get to experience them at the Euros with you guys. Unfortunately, I missed that trip. But like anytime I've ever seen a video of these people, it's like, what you get is you get the best of the English, which is the banter, the drinking, just like the fun, but you don't have the expectation. So you just get people who are just happy to be at the tournament and are just passionate. And like Scott McTominay, and they're calling him, like, they have all these nicknames for him, and like, just it's awesome. And
just the best one to hang out with.
100%. I went off purely, who do I want to show up at my local bar accidentally?
On how you did your list, I would agree that would be the one.
And you get to sit, and they're just going to chat. They're going to say something crazy. They're going to wear a kilt, and you're like, you're just an awesome dude. Like, thank you. Maybe, you know, maybe I don't want them to be my best friend and hang out with them every day. That might get a little much. But like, for me just to walk into a pub and watch a match with you, like, fuck yeah, you're the best person to have next to me. So that no-brainer for me, Scotland. Pooch?
Yeah, for my number 1, I thought it was Scotland as well.
Okay.
Basically the same exact reasons you said, E. And then on top of that, you just can never understand them. Like, they're still speaking the same language as you. You just can't understand them. So like, they're saying stuff to you, and you're like, I caught 3 words out of that. The fact that, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I'm walking to work today, walking home from work today, and there's just hundreds of Scottish guys in kilts walking around, and their game is in Boston.
Gets them up the list.
like, it's not even like you're like, okay, like they're doing
personal
like
experience helps.
Yeah, it's but it's not like they're like, okay, we're gonna do like a layover in New York because the tickets are cheap, the plane tickets is cheap, and then we're gonna fly to like Charlotte or like Kansas City. They're probably just gonna take the Amtrak up to like, they could have just flown into Boston. Like, they could have literally just done that, but they decided New York and then do an extra mode of travel to go to Boston after like 2 days in New York. Like, they're just the best.
That would be the best classes permanent video if like you could spend 24 hours with the Scotland fans on a match day. That would do numbers.
When do Scotland play?
I don't think we'd last 24 hours.
Wait, Scotland's playing at MetLife. They play Norway at MetLife.
But not the first game. No, they don't, because they're not in the same group.
I don't think so. I don't think I remember seeing that on
sorry. It's Scotland's and Morocco's group.
Yeah.
And so is Brazil. No, sorry, that's what I meant. I meant Norway, Scotland are going to be playing either Brazil or Morocco. I just wonder where.
Yeah, I don't think here.
No, well, Brazil is at Morocco. Okay, so Scotland, Brazil is at Miami.
Is here.
Scotland versus Morocco. This is us game planning some content. Yeah, Boston versus Morocco. And then who's Haiti?
Yeah. I think that might be in Philly, maybe.
Yeah, I think Haiti's Philly. Haiti,
it's also in Boston.
Philly.
Say, like,
yeah, they're in Boston. We have to go up to Boston. We have to.
We may actually
shipping up to Boston.
But I think also what helps them, and this is my last point on the fans, is they call themselves the Tartan Army.
Yes.
Like, they have their own nickname that's like, they're called the Tartan Army. Like, how sick is that? Like, it's a sick nickname to have. So they got to be number 1.
100%.
When they start like quoting Braveheart before the game, and they're just like,
like they showed up. I saw a video of them showing up to the Logan Airport in Boston, like online or whatever. One guy got off the plane, immediately took out his bagpipes in the middle of the airport, just started playing the bagpipes. Like, another guy walked off.
They love
the
their culture, which helps.
Yeah. another guy just walked off the plane and they had like a local news person there being like, "How was the flight?" And he goes, "Would have been fine if they didn't run out of beer."
Yeah, like
it's
just
like,
awesome.
just that's all they care about is beer and footy. Like,
That's awesome. They really are an awesome people, especially for a tournament like this.
yeah,
Hrubiy, you got the number one spot here. I think we all know based on what we've talked about so far where you're going, but I'll let you make it official.
Yeah, so my number one, I do have Brazil. I think with the number one spot, it's a big honor. I didn't want to speak in hypotheticals. I wanted to pick a fan base that I've actually experienced, that I've seen.
Okay.
Like, I always grew up thinking it's the top footy nation. I grew up falling in love with those players. But then even like in previous World Cups, me being able to go to the bar and actually spending time with those fans, like literally die hard for the game, everyone getting chills and your tears when the anthems are playing, so locked in for the whole game, know every player, would die for their players. But then when the game ends, literally like Carnival, like everyone is
Yes.
samba dancing. The culture is just like, I was in the bar being like, wow, like American bars are not this fun. This is an all-time experience, and it really just sets it apart. And then even like when I went to the Club World Cup, I was able to see Flamengo fans. I was able to see Fluminense fans. And the Flamengo fans, probably the best fan base I've ever seen with my own eyes. Just like absolutely took over the parking lots, absolutely took over the stadium. Everything is a party with those guys. And it's just like, if I could be with one fan base, if I could be a part of one fan base in another life, I'm Brazilian.
100%. You're going to be one of those guys. We've all seen the TikTok trend where they go to Brazil and you go to the favelas and get your hair dyed blonde. Yeah.
I was so do that.
It doesn't help your hair's already kind of blonde, but like we could definitely get you a little platinum.
Yeah, they get it bleached.
You need to get like the bleach buzz cut, right? That's what they do. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And maybe we get you like the cheetah print. That'd be kind of tough. Maybe
That's
for
the
your
thing,
bachelor
too,
party.
like, you know, like they're just in the favelas, like they just play footy no matter how they can. Streets, beach,
Yes.
doesn't matter what type of equipment. Like it's just a
Yep.
country that loves football.
It's what
Yeah.
everything you want your country to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like when it comes to culture.
And Ethan, that's a great point. Hrubiy, I need to talk with Roman, but we may just go to Rio for your bachelor party.
Tell him he's just going to Rio, but instead we just like throw
Forget
him in.
We
our
might have to
original
go down
idea
to
of Bangkok. Forget our original idea of Bangkok, and we're just gonna go to Rio.
Rio would be a dream, but for price reasons, maybe we'll just visit Ethan in Florida.
Yeah. You guys come down to Miami. I'll take you to Fogo de Chao, and we'll take you to an alley and have your head shaved, and we'll just
Yeah,
get
if
you.
you get me drunk enough, I'll believe it's Rio, and we'll save a lot.
Yeah,
and it'll
well,
be
like-
safer.
Ethan will just have Katie's dogs running around outside, and Ethan will be like, "Look, stray dogs like in Rio." we'll
we're
be
gonna put
like,
you on-
"Wow."
I will say Sherry ball knower too. On the last podcast, he also had Brazil number one. So I
Mhm.
do think that's a ball knower take, or just
He-
at least a classic take.
He's just been what's the word? You just like propaganded him so hard that it's just now subconscious. But that's awesome. Very nice. Very good list. I like that we all were
Yeah.
kind of on the same wavelength. I think all our lists were very similar. Obviously some moving spots, but I don't know. Let's all give maybe one honorable mention, someone that we wish we mentioned.
I'm gonna be honest. All three of my honorable mentions were listed by everyone else. I had Congo, Japan, and the Dutch.
Okay.
Those are my three honorables, and everybody talked about them. So
The Dutch.
I don't have any.
The Dutch was my honorable mention, and it was only because I like a lot of what people are talking about their culture. Like I just haven't seen it on social media, so I know like they have a really passionate fan base and they all wear orange and all that. But like I haven't seen a lot of this, so it's like I just don't have the personal experience. But
You probably like even like Ajax games. like,
Yeah.
sometimes those
Yeah.
crowds are nuts.
100%. I know that they love it and like they're super
Mhm.
passionate. So I know the fans are good, but like talking about like following the bus and like the dance outside, like I didn't know the dance. Like that
Mhm.
was new to me. But
Tough.
that would be my my honorable mention. I mean, and of course, right, for teams that didn't make the World Cup, like Ireland, very
Yeah,
similar to
yeah.
Scottish. Who else didn't make the World Cup? That'd probably be a great
Irish
fan
is
base.
a really good one.
I guess we talked about Italy.
Yeah, my honorable mentions were basically all mentioned. I had Senegal.
Mhm.
I mean, I kind of touched on Egypt. I guess they weren't mentioned, but then I had South Korea and Mexico, which
Yeah,
I think the arguments you guys made for Mexico totally make sense. I would have had them higher,
yeah.
but
It's
it
all-
was tough since they're an op.
yeah. Well, that's what makes it tricky. Is they're an op, so it's like you don't look at them favorably. So when you see their fans, you're kind of like, oh, F. But then you also have to like take a step back. The one thing that's a little frustrating is
they're
like,
awesome culture.
I'll
yeah.
say this, one fan base that might get a lot of love this summer for this World Cup, because I saw a clip of it earlier, is the Norwegian fans. I don't know if you've seen what their fans do, where they do, instead of the Iceland clap, they do
The
row,
row.
row, row.
That's awesome. So Norway was a country, as I was looking at the World Cup teams, I was like, oh, Norway. And I was like, you know what? The problem is like, if I'm going off having a beer with them, I don't know much. And number two is I didn't know that row thing. I put them in on that. But I was like, I don't really know much about the Norwegian fans. But I felt like they had to be good, right? Like they had to be good.
Yeah, they've also
culture.
just been out of it for so long that we don't really know. But with that being said, like you also get the Scottish fans where like they've also been out of it for so long, but like they're probably going to be in the same boat where both are going to be so excited to just be at a World Cup that you're going to see their cultures really shine through and like that drinking culture or whatever.
100%. It is really so frustrating that the U.S. is not have a culture like this, because we do have like awesome pubs. People love to drink. Like it is such a great country. So definitely frustrating. But let's move over real quick. We'll rip real quick our preview of the upcoming games. We're not going to go break down every game, man. There's going to be like hundreds of games in the group stage. So we'll give a quick tidbit or two, something maybe people should know, maybe our takes on it. But let's rip through it. Starting with, I don't know if this is a preview because they're about to kick it off. So it'll be a recap by tomorrow. South Korea versus Czechia about to kick off. All I've heard about is this guy Chori, who is a 6'7" like striker, I think, for them. Plays for Slavia Prague. He won in the league, but he apparently just is like the dirtiest player. Just elbows dudes, all this stuff. So I'm gonna watch.
That's exciting.
Love it.
I'm happy to hear that. What was Chori you said?
Or what? Chori will be an interesting one to watch, as well as the rest of the South Korean team. Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. What are our thoughts here?
I think Canada will win. I think Jesse Marsh has the boys firing, but don't count out Bosnia. I think they're going to be bottom of this group, but I don't think they're going to get blown out by anyone. I think they're going to basically be tight with everyone, and yeah, that's my thoughts.
I think the only thing I could say is I don't know how their footy will be, but I think we all enjoyed the song. I am from Bosnia, take me to America. I really want to see Statue of Liberty. So I think a dark horse for a fan base I'd want to hang out with this World Cup, but
they're a tricky one.
I won't add much there.
I know a lot of Croatians and they're not fans of them, so I'm gonna stay with my people.
Fair.
That's
I would
a whole
go with Croatia. So
yeah, that's a very big conflict there, but
no voodoo.
I think
no
I'm not cutting the voodoo. Canada, I'm gonna take Canada in this one. Canada has been one of the teams I've rocked with this World Cup. I think they'll do well. The big one, guys, USA versus Paraguay. USA's opening game tonight. Obviously, if you're listening this out Friday morning, tonight, 9 p.m. kickoff Eastern.
We'll be at Pooch's.
Yeah, we will be most likely watching live, not a live stream, but a live watch party. I'm excited. I think the USA, this is an awesome opportunity to go out and get 3 points to start. Not the hardest opponent, probably the easiest in the group. If anything, maybe you can. Yeah.
And am I mistaken that Miggy Almiron is out and that's Paraguay's best player? I don't know if it was fake news that I saw that he had to pull out.
I couldn't confirm
tournament.
For sure, but I do think
he's technically, it looks like he's still in the
I know
squad.
and Ciso is out. Is that maybe who you're thinking of?
Maybe
Strasbourg
that might be
guy?
who it is. Yeah, that's
he had
who
a
it
great
was.
season.
Yeah. Well, he had
Okay.
an okay season.
Regardless, for the U.S., I just think this is a huge opportunity. Go get a win. Go get 3 points. Take a lot of pressure off your game against Turkey later in the group. And then
I worry more about that game. I think this game is a good first match.
Yeah, and I mean, the U.S. has played well in their kind of like, not preseason, but like their warm-up matches. They lost against Germany, but like they looked pretty sharp. I think
interested to see who's our right wing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, me and Pooch set out our lineup, which was kind of like a 3-back. It looks like they're sticking with the 4-back system, which is interesting.
Just a little bit. Almost goes into a 3-back, but
yeah, we'll definitely
I
have
think
to
we know it'll be Tillman Adams, McKinney. We know it'll be Pulisic, Balogun. I just wonder if you go like a Dest, a Weah, like what they do for that final spot.
Yeah, 100%, especially against an opponent like Paraguay, who you assume you'll probably hold the ball a lot of. You're going to get your attacking chances. Like against Turkey, if they may go back 5 in a sense of let's just be really solid defensively and like kind of play a little bit as like, a little Pooch's favorite haram ball versus Paraguay. Like you gotta know you're going to be on the ball and you just got to protect against counters. That's all I could see them doing. That could be a bad ball no take, but that's what I'm thinking.
I'll say on FIFA, or I guess EAFC.
Thank you for clarification.
I did have the Medford Messi Maradona, the defense, put it into the bottom corner to get it started for USA. So I'd love to see the Medford Messi come off the bench and maybe have some magic.
There you go. I think we'd all love that.
Hashtag thank you, Hrubiy.
Who
hashtag Union alum.
I guess Hrubiy, my question here would be: obviously, you're rooting for the U.S. this World Cup. Is there any other countries that you're also rooting for, or have a soft spot with Ukraine out?
Brazil.
Okay. I guess.
Although I will say, I worry for them.
Yeah.
I think like you look at 02, you have 4 Ballon d'Or winners on the team.
Yep.
I think this team is a little shakier. There's a couple question marks. Like I do like some of the players, but for example, like we're saying USA has a good first game. On Brazil's hand, you're playing Morocco, which is your toughest opponent of the group stage. Morocco plays very good defensive football. They work together as a team. Interested to see how that matchup plays out. A little nervous, but they're still just raw quality when it comes to Brazil.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue into that game. That was the next one we're going to talk about. So just jumping into it. Yeah, I mean, in my eyes with Brazil, it's a very tricky team because this team can either come out and look like the Brazil that we kind of know and most people are expecting. And you're like, yeah, why did I have any doubts? This is Brazil with Rafinha, Vinicius, like just the star power. Or it could be a team that you're like, well, yeah, no shit. They have like, it's like the drawing where like the front of the horse is like beautiful and the further it gets back, it just like turns into a stick figure where you're like, yeah, like they're missing.
Fullbacks are a massive question mark.
Exactly. Where, I'm curious to see. I do have Morocco winning that group. We talked about that an episode or two ago, and I just think it's because of, like you said, they're in probably better form. They're a little bit more of a complete team, top to bottom. But this is a game that Brazil can show up and beat Morocco 3-1 and just be like, why the hell did we doubt these, offensive magicians? What do you think there, Pooch? Morocco, Brazil?
I think Brazil wins. I think Morocco.
Gabriel on the set piece.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't give him a penalty.
I think Morocco is super overrated this tournament. I think people are talking about them like they are a team that could lift a trophy. I disagree wholly with that. I think they're a team that's going to be out in the round of 16 at most.
Wow.
I think they're going to be one of the major disappointments of this tournament because they're talked about so highly that I think they've kind of went over what they may be.
I do think the pressure is a risk. I do like I've been to Morocco. It's not like a country in Africa where you think like, oh, maybe they don't have as much established footy. They just rely on their athleticism. It's not like that. They have a ton of cage football in Morocco. Mm-hmm. They actually produce ballers. Like you've seen the Ziyech, like some of these other wingers they have on the team. Obviously, Brahim maybe not growing up in Morocco, but some of these players like Ezalazoui, gonna butcher that name, but I've seen him ball out. Like they have real technical quality and hard workers. So the expectations is tough, but I do think they're a very good team.
I will say Eze's out of the World Cup, which is unfortunate.
Is he?
Yeah. Wow. I think he picked up a knock because also Newcastle now moving.
Boudadi, though, is playing for Morocco. He was very highly rated in France.
Is he at Lille? Right?
He was. Yes, he's on Lille.
18-year-old.
He's the 18-year-old big football manager wonder kid, but he actually, chose to play for Morocco, which is cool. Obviously, Hakimi, just still a lot of technical quality.
I totally agree with you. That's probably one of the best games of the entire group stage, if not the best. I can't really think of another better one. I'm sure there will be a game that maybe plays better, but Ivory Coast versus Ecuador, another big game I had here. I think this is a game that a lot of casuals will sleep on, but Ivory Coast always having some ballers in the squad. Yan Diomande making his World Cup debut versus Ecuador, who have an insane defense. You have, Cote d'Ivoire. You have Hincapié, you have William Pacho, you have this guy Joel Ordonez, who I've heard is a very good center back.
Very good.
next up.
Yeah. So, I mean, very, very good backline. You obviously have
Caicedo, Steele in the midfield.
Estupiñán. Isn't one of the other Chelsea kids? Not Kendry Paez, right? What is it? The other one? Andre?
I think Kendry Paez is the Ecuadorian.
That's, yeah. So,
But
like,
he's kind of had, some issues there with the
Oh, I didn't realize
development.
that.
Oh.
I
You're
don't know.
telling me him going to a New York City club at 16 didn't influence how he would act at 20?
He's just gone to a couple teams now where he hasn't really broken in and he's like on loan and you're like, why is he not playing a ton? And they do kind of cite back sometimes the personality. So where maybe something Pooch is bringing up, you're 16 years old, you're going to bars in the city, you might have a little bit of that party mentality.
I forgot about that. But
I like ballers.
yeah,
It's a
ballers
very
up there.
Brazilian way to go about it.
100%. So, and they, throughout their entire qualifying, if I'm not mistaken, I think they gave up 1 goal through the entire qualifying campaign.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous. So, like, they are really solid defensively.
Kind of entering their golden gen.
100%. So, and I know a couple of Ecuadorians from some previous jobs, and like they're very, yeah, he's a baller. Obviously, it's funny, you're gonna have 2 left-footed center backs in that back line at minimum with
I wouldn't be
Hincapié.
shocked if they moved Hincapié out to left back.
Estupiñán, is he left back or right back? Why am
He's left back. If they do that back 5, I love Hincapié in that left center back role.
Yeah, I would go back 5 with those 3, and then you could play Pacho through the middle and Ordóñez off the right, and then you could play Estupiñán as like a left wing back. Oh, that would be beautiful.
That's really beautiful.
My only
Enter
issue
Valencia.
with Ecuador, is Enter Valencia.
Yeah.
Dude's like 36, and like, I don't know if it's not like a 40-year-old Messi or Ronaldo out there where you're like, all right, these guys are still ballers. Like, you got a 36-year-old Enter Valencia.
100%.
So that's going to be their biggest issue. With that being said, I think they beat Côte d'Ivoire because their defense is so good. And as we have learned to know, defense does win championships.
100%. And then the final game we'll touch on here. And a quick note, because some people are like, wait, what about the Monday games? We are now going to start doing the pod because of men's league ending on Sunday nights. So we will now have pods coming out Monday morning. So we will obviously review those games Sunday night. The other game we had here was the Netherlands versus Japan. This is a really big clash here.
End on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see who ends up top and second in this group. Some people felt Sweden, some people felt Japan, but like this feels like a group defining game here. Japan coming in on a high. I know Endo, I think, just left the camp injured, but the Netherlands not a fun one to start with. So, I mean, I'm going to probably just take the Netherlands in this one. I think Japan's a little overrated this World Cup. You guys tell me, what do we think about this one?
I'm rocking with Netherlands. I mean, I picked them to win it all. So
yeah, that's your winner.
I have to rock with them. I agree with you, Ethan. I just think for the first game, I'd rather have this Netherlands team because it feels like, and I guess Japan too has played together in a decent amount of tournaments at this point, like their core group. But this Dutch team has gone farther in a lot of those tournaments, and it's kind of like those scars have built up with these guys playing with each other, where they've kind of got all those scars gathered up, and I think they'll get through this group.
Are you worried about Van Dijk's haircut? Kind of looked like a washed haircut, like entering his washed era.
Ruby,
I don't think
why
so.
are you bringing this up before why didn't you tell me this before I made the picks? You know me. You know I would have went completely off of Van Dijk haircut, not picking the Dutch. Why are you bringing this up now?
Yeah, tough timing there, but
yeah,
I mean,
we have a phone. You could have immediately, once you saw that, been like, Van Dijk horrendous haircut, and I would have been like, well, Dutch round of 32 loss.
That's awesome. I have not seen this haircut.
To be fair, maybe it was AI. Maybe it's like when you put dreads on Ethan, and I just got baited online. So we'll find out.
No, those were real.
I guess I'll find out this weekend.
Those were totally real. All good stuff there. I absolutely just love the World Cup. I love footy, man. We're exciting.
So back. We're so back.
So back.
The
Knicks are
gonna.
You know what's crazy is I almost kind of like, obviously the Knicks have been so exciting, but I'm like, all right, just end the series on Saturday so I could fully just be World Cup. Like I can't start getting like my games and my emotions.
It's hard to split hearts.
100%. I want to be fully dialed in.
Whole ass one thing instead of half-ass 2 things.
Amen.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Who was that? Was that quote in the Bible?
yeah.
I believe that was Parks and Rec. Guy with the
The guy with the mustache. I like
Ron.
that. That being said, let's wrap this up. We're going to start watching Czechia versus South Korea. And yeah, first off, I want to give a big shout out to Andriy for joining the show. Awesome vibes. Every time we
Thank you for
clap,
having me.
I don't think it claps. I don't think it plays through the mic, but really awesome vibes. We appreciate you coming on and sharing with us while we're still missing our Owen. If anyone's seen Owen, please call 1-800 Dune and
Got Owen.
Pussy.
And if you want to guess which country he is with, spending this World Cup with, please put it in the comments.
Yeah, drop it in the comments. If you want to hear more of Hrubiy, let us know. Maybe this was an audition for Hrubiy. I don't know. That's what the fans are saying. I let us know how he did on his audition. I think he did well. Only 1 or 2 cuts in there, which is pretty good. But that being said, as
That is
always,
pretty good actually.
yeah, class is permanent, form is temporary. Enjoy the games this weekend. We will see you on Monday. Peace.